Hello everybody, this is Father Ned and Father Christian at, what do we call this thing?
At Home with the Lord.
At Home with the Lord.
It was your idea to call it that.
You know,
Yeah.
some ideas are good. And then there's that one. So today we are going to talk to you a little bit about everything that's going on again, just in regard to what to do for Sunday. Mm-hmm. As you know, the masses have been canceled by the diocese, all public masses, and so even though you're dispensed from going to mass, we think you could take advantage of today's technology and at least go to the sources that are on TV as well as on the internet in order to still participate in the liturgy of the Word and unite yourself to our Lord in a spiritual communion. So we'll talk to you a few things about that. We also want to thank you for coming out yesterday, for all of you that came out yesterday at the St. Joseph Solemnity Day, where we did the Eucharistic procession around St. Joseph Church. It was a great turnout. It was a lot of fun. We had, it was, I wouldn't say fun, you know, these things are fun. It was a source of great graces. Someone sent me a picture while we were going around that the skies opened and sun shone through, and all around us was darkness and clouds. So kind of like what is going on in the world, we had this beautiful experience from the Lord to help us to have hope in these times that we're living through. So just to let you know, this weekend there is confession at the normal times on Saturdays at Mary Help of Christians, 3:30 to 4:30. If there's more people, we won't leave at 4:30 if there's more people there to be heard for their confessions. So today as well, today is Friday, March 20th. Might be a little late that you hear this one. So we're going to every Friday, because we're having confessions every Friday anyway, at 3:30 after school. We'll still keep that, 3:30 to 4:30, if you want to bring your children or go yourself, at 3:30 on Fridays. So basically 3:30 on Fridays to 4:30, 3:30 to 4:30 on Saturdays, both at Mary Help of Christians. On Sundays, confessions will be from 8:30 to 9:30, the usual time. This time extended 15 minutes because there's no Mass. And at 9 o'clock to 10 o'clock at St. Peter's. Mary Help is very clear where the confession is. It's outside of the confessional. It's set up that way. So that's very clear where that is. St. Peter, we still have to set up, so just be aware. We'll put some signs out where that might be, the confessional. As well as on Tuesday, the light is on. We're supposed to bring other priests in, but all of our priests are very elderly. I don't know if you heard, but there was 28 priests that died in Italy. So we want to protect our elderly priests, so there won't be those elderly priests coming. There's just us young whippersnappers here, some younger than others, in your presence. That we're doing the light is on for you. And that is at 6 to 8 p.m. at Mary Help of Christians this week only, on Tuesday, 6 to 8 p.m. From then on, we'll continue our regular 6 to 7 o'clock confessions on Tuesdays at Mary Help of Christians. So these are the times that we're having confessions. If you want to suggest to us another time that's good for a lot of people, let us know, and we're more than willing to try to accommodate those types of interests. So Father Christian is going to say a few words because he's been silent this long. He needs to tell us a little bit about what you can do on Sundays.
I know I talked all the time last time. I'll mention a couple ideas. Mainly, like Father Ned said, to go through the liturgy of the Word, to go through the readings for that day. And there are different resources for that. Certainly if you go on the USCCB website or Magnificat, as you may know. So they're a subscription-based thing that they put out the readings for each day, and of course for each Sunday with reflections. But my understanding is they have a free, basically you can access it for free online during this time, specifically because of what's going on with the virus. Is that correct? Okay, so if you go on the Magnificat website, you can access those readings for free there as well, and I assume they have reflections for each day also.
You can read them. Today's reflection if you want. You keep talking.
Okay. So you have that, one way or another. It's pretty easy to find the readings for the day. If you have a daily missal, you have them there. So just to go through those readings as we would at Mass with your family. Ideally, we talked about last time setting up a home altar or a home shrine. Ideally, gathering your family there and maybe lighting a couple candles, just kind of setting that time apart, preparing yourselves for prayer, and then beginning that prayer with the readings for the day, maybe some time for reflection, or maybe you want to find a source of reflection and just read the reflection, for example, from the Magnificat, or something like that, just to reflect on the readings, or go through a Lectio Divina with your family, and maybe, actually, I think Ben included that on Facebook, the idea of Lectio Divina, and some information on how you can go about doing that. So just to use the readings and then to make a spiritual communion after that would be a good setup for how to approach Sundays as a family. And certainly watching the Mass can be one way of doing that. So you hear the readings, and then as you watch the Eucharistic prayer, you can make a spiritual communion during that time. So we're not, to my knowledge, live streaming Masses here, but there are a lot of places around here that are live streaming Masses, or EWTN, of course, has Masses.
Yeah, they have them several times. Just check their schedule, check your TV. That you can get access directly through your cable TV. If you have a Roku device, I have a Roku device, you could go on StreamSpot. I believe it's StreamSpot. And that's where all these churches do these services for everyone, that they stream them through there, and you'll see many churches. Just make sure you're on a Catholic church, okay, a good Catholic church. Holy Trinity in Coldwater does theirs through StreamSpot. It might be Spot Stream, I don't know, the way my crazy mind works. One of those two. So just put in Roku, says search, and then StreamSpot or Spot Stream, and it'll come up. You'll just see all these Catholic churches, that then you can click on those. They'll tell you the time, and you can click on those. So right now we are not equipped to do that here, and we're trying to figure out how to do it, but it's kind of late in the game to be doing something like that.
And I mean, the Mass is the Mass.
Right.
If you're
know that we are celebrating every
doing it
day.
well.
We are celebrating every day 2 Masses. We're going to keep celebrating using the intentions that were originally scheduled. So at least one of us is going to pick up that intention, and the other priest is going to pick up other intentions. Make your Sunday like we always wanted your Sundays to be. Before, there's always sports breaking up your Sunday. There's always something breaking up your Sunday. Make it your family day. This is the time God is really forcing you to make you these habits. Your Lenten resolution, you wanted to make your family closer. This is a beautiful time where you can, get together around your shrine, around the TV to watch the Mass, and then pay attention, and then have a family meal together. Of course, you're doing that hopefully as you're all together these days. But really form these habits. It's a beautiful time to form these habits, in my opinion. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, an opportunity to grow closer as a family, and to take that Sunday as a day of rest and a day of prayer as well. So just take that up however you see best for your families, including, of course, the prayers of the church. But I think we should talk about as well maybe daily prayer. You had mentioned using the bells
Yes.
that were blessed yesterday. Can we talk a little more about that?
One of the things you can do, what we do here when we're good at it, the days that we're not, we don't, but most of the days you're going to hear this bell in our church, in our rectory offices, and that's a call to prayer. That calls everyone, this is the time we're going to pray. So you can give that responsibility to someone every day to ring that bell, and that tells everyone now you're entering into silence, you recollect your mind, and you go to a place where you can all pray together. Maybe around your kitchen table, maybe around one of your home altars or shrines, and or maybe just in the living room, and say a few prayers together. Have the Father lead in prayer, whoever is the leader in the prayer. Have your children, also get involved as well.
Maybe having one of the kids be in charge of ringing the bell could be fun for them, and something to kind of keep them aware of, 12 o'clock is coming up. I got to ring that bell to call everybody to prayer. And then everybody has to stop what they're doing to get together to pray. I think it could be a good practice.
There's 3 times of the day that you can pray this prayer called the Angelus. And in the Angelus there's a beautiful picture of it. Maybe we can find it on the internet and show it on this video of two people out in the field, and they're just bow their heads and they pray because they're out in the field. It's at 6 o'clock in the morning, 12 o'clock at noon, and then at 6 o'clock in the p.m. That's when you'll notice our bells and our at the Church of Mary Help, the big bell tower that the Greece, I believe it was the Greece that so generously donated way back when the church was first founded. So we have a loudspeaker that plays those bells, and the bells themselves ring, and they're extended at that time to remind you to do the Angelus. And the Angelus is a beautiful prayer. It's the prayer of the incarnation of our Lord, which we'll celebrate next week, actually, on March 25th. Maybe there'll be news about that as well coming. So, anything else?
Yeah, just highly recommend taking up that Angelus prayer together as a family, and using those bells. In the painting that Father Ned mentioned here, you see in the background a church steeple, right? So for centuries we've had this, in which people knew if they heard the bells of the church ringing 6 a.m., midday, 6 p.m., that was a time to stop whatever they were doing, to get together and just pray this prayer together. And it's a beautiful thing, I think, at a time like this when we can't gather together for prayer, right? And for the most part, we're all praying individually at our own times. But this is a way of, if we keep it at those hours specifically, then we know we're joining other people in the parish and all praying the same prayer at the same time. And I think it's one beautiful way in which we can continue praying together and know that we are praying together. Who is it? Okay, they're not important. Anything else we wanted to talk about?
That's it for now, I believe. The prayer will post on the Angelus prayer will post on this video as well, so that you know what that prayer is. And good luck to all of you. Keep your families united. Keep the parishes united. Once again, thank you for all coming out. Thanks for all those who helped out with the event yesterday. It was a last minute thing on St. Joseph, the Feast of St. Joseph, and it was a beautiful thing. And maybe we'll post some of those pictures as well in the video. Yeah. So, sayonara.
God bless you all.